Hi everyone, my name is Josh, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to get your first SEO client. So the reason why I'm making this video is because a lot of people ask agency owners, especially in SEO, I've noticed, how do you get clients? How do you get business? How do you do B2B sales and stuff like that? And so if you're just starting your agency out, let's say you want to do even graphic design, web design, SEO, whatever it is, Facebook ads, this is going to apply to you because this is going to be, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how I did it. And I'm going to share with you some options that you have. And so, yeah, a little backstory. I started out a couple years ago, and I started out doing website design, and then about almost 2 years ago, I started my company, and I started doing SEO. I started selling SEO as a service, and I started to charge people. My first client, my first real SEO client, I had for a few months, and then my second client, who came about a month after. I've been with their company for over a year now, and they're still paying me the same price. I'm not raising the price or anything like that, and so I've gotten a lot more clients since then, and I have a couple notes over here on this little post-it sheet to kind of help me get some pointers for what I'm going to be talking about. And because what I want to share with you are the different strategies that I used, some of the methods that you can use, and help you find what's going to work best for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is brute force versus organic. Brute force is, let's say you actually need the money. Like, you genuinely are like, bro, rent is coming up. I don't know where I'm going to get enough money to sustain my food and rent and all that. Like, let's say you're actually kind of like you're in the pressure cooker, and you need to actually get numbers going. So you're going to want to brute force your way into sales. And then there are those of us who, when I started my agency, I was still in high school. I was still at home. I was living with my parents. So I didn't need the money like tomorrow. But, I had more time to kind of grow my reputation, myself in the process. And that's the organic kind of model. But I did start doing some brute forcing, and brute force, I just mean more like you're pushing sales more rather than you're pushing yourself more. Don't get me wrong, if you are doing brute force, do not forget to work on yourself. By that I mean, remember to always be learning about sales, learn about SEO if that's your service, or graphic design, or whatever it is. Keep learning. Don't ever be caught lacking in your business. Just don't. When I was a senior in high school, I had an internship. So this is the first way that you can get a client, through an internship. Let's say you see an ad on Craigslist or Indeed or something like that, or Indeed I think is what it is, or LinkedIn, or high school, whoever, some teacher tells you about this internship, some professor, whatever. You then want to follow up on that internship, even if it sounds a bit boring. Even if it's only like, oh, we need someone to handle social media for an art gallery or something like that. You get experience working for someone else. I've never been employed, but I have worked under someone else's guidance for a few months. In terms of, I worked with this company, and I was doing SEO for them, and I was helping them rank higher on Google. So the point that I'm trying to get at is, if you have the opportunity to get an internship, because let's say you're young, you're a student or something, definitely do that. Even if it's unpaid, you're going to learn a lot about the industry. You're going to learn a lot about what your role as an agency owner is actually going to be, because you're going to look at a lot of like the systems that people use, and you're going to see how broken it is. And then that's where you, the agency owner, the consultant, is going to be able to find ways to problem solve. That's why now I charge a much higher retainer than when I first started, because I learned a lot more and I've gotten more results. So you can do the agency route through an internship, get some connections, and that can lead you to your first client. My former boss was kind enough to refer me to a couple of other people. Now, I didn't get direct clients from them, but I did get some good word of mouth, and I'm sure that if someone ever asked, hey, do you know anyone that could do SEO and looking to revamp our whole online marketing presence, I'm sure that he would kindly refer me to them. So the next thing is cold emailing. Cold emailing if you are in need of money. So this is the strategy that I've been using for the last year to get clients, especially now with COVID. It's been the go-to strategy because this is like the way to get clients during COVID, right? Cold emailing and even cold calling. I think cold calling is a bit, I don't want to say it's dead, but in my experience, it's not been as effective as cold emailing. Cold emailing, you send out maybe 100 emails a day. You come up with like a good subject line, not just quick question about, or do you want more visitors? No, don't do any of that bogus. Think of something creative. I have a video somewhere that talks about the exact way that I got clients in the last couple of months. I still use that strategy. If you want to go check it out, I'm not even going to leave a link in the description or anything. You're going to have to find it because I don't want y'all stealing my strategy. You feel me? So go find that yourself. It's out there. Cold calling you can do. I was doing about 25 cold calls a day for some time. It was not my favorite thing to do. I didn't like it. I didn't get any results from it. Results meaning I didn't get a sale from it, really. I got some audits out. I followed up with a couple of people here and there and stuff like that, but I never really got any sales from it. Maybe that's just because I wasn't targeting enough people. Maybe that's because I was targeting the wrong people. And it could have been for 1,000 different reasons, but I just found personally it doesn't work. It takes me more time to cold call 25 people that are going to say no than it does to email 100 people, and 2 of them might say yes to an audit, and then bam, I might be able to make a sale out of one of those 2. I have a pretty high closing rate, so that's one thing I wanted to share is if you do go down the cold calling route, you'll probably notice that it's going to be more difficult than the cold emailing route, and so if you are going to do it, just be prepared for that. You gotta probably, and the reason why I say probably is because again I haven't gotten those results, but you're probably gonna want to spend a lot more time working on your public speaking skills and your confidence. That's something that I developed, I think, naturally over the course of the last 2 years doing this, is public speaking, confidence, if speaking in front of a camera, speaking over the phone, stuff like that. But if you're going to do cold calling, I think that's pretty much what you're going to want to focus on, is that body language needs to be perfect, your embouchure needs to be good, your structure needs to be good, and your delivery needs to be good. So just that's kind of my 2 cents for cold calling. The last thing, or second to last thing, is going to be networking or in-person networking. And this is what I was utilizing a lot last summer, up until I moved out to New Hampshire and COVID hit, was just networking. And the reason why is because I was shaking the hands of so many people. I was a member of the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. Now, I think it was Ruan who was talking about, how he was part of the Chamber of Commerce in his area in Connecticut, and that helped him get his business kick-started. Listen, I was a part of a Chamber of Commerce that had thousands of people. I joined the Manchester, I attended a couple of events of the Manchester, New Hampshire Chamber of Commerce. There were maybe about 200 people in that whole chapter, that chamber. In the Manhattan Chamber, there were about 2,000 to 3,000 business owners. So I was shaking hands with people from all across the city, because a lot of people, even outside in Brooklyn and Queens and stuff, they were pulling up to the Manhattan Chamber. And I was shaking hands with everybody. And the reason why this was so effective is because it did more than just, and this is more on the organic side of growing your agency, it did more than just get me a couple of clients. It got me connections. I know a good amount of people now. I've shaken a lot of people's hands. I've followed up with them on LinkedIn. I've had one-to-ones or sit-downs with them. We've talked about business. We've talked about daily life together with a lot of other business owners. I've done a lot of chatting and discussions with them. So I know them pretty well. And it really helped me build that network, because I was not going to high school. That's something that I really needed, was connections. I needed those connections. And it's going to be scary at first if you do the in-person networking. I'm not sure when that's going to ever happen. It could be another couple of months. It could be another year because of COVID and everything like that. But when it does kind of become a more viable option, I get it. It's going to be scary. And if there's anyone that knows anything about social anxiety or has any fear of that, listen, I understand that. I was so terrified to ask people questions when I was younger. I was so scared to, approach business owners and stuff. I thought they were these intimidating creatures that just were just always stoic and said no. But no, they're human beings. They're people too. They have feelings. They make mistakes, just like you and me. So do not be afraid. And I might make a whole video on social anxiety and dealing with that type of stuff. The last way that you can get clients is through organic traffic on SEO or Facebook and stuff like that. So basically blogging. Now this is how I'm getting traffic for my other channel, Koji Languages. And it's the way that I've gotten a few bucks from Amazon affiliates. The point that I want to get across is if you go down this route, you're really not going to see results for a long time. But your chances of getting people interested are going to increase because you're going to get more leads. So let's say you're in the New York City area and you want to rank for Manhattan or Brooklyn SEO or something like that. What you would do is then you would create a website, maybe your company name. There's some people that think that you should buy exact match domains, but if it's going to be your actual business, I would strongly advise against that. So let's say you want to rank for Brooklyn SEO. I would not, unless that's really what you want to call your company, Brooklyn SEO, don't try and use brooklynseo.com. If you want to call it, let's say, JGL's SEO service or something like that, and you want to rank for, Brooklyn SEO, buy JGLSEO.com. Don't worry about brooklynseo.com, is what I'm trying to say. And build the traffic to that site. If you have the money, go hire other people that can do it. If you don't have the money, study blogging, study SEO, and this is going to help you get that practice that you actually need. So those are the ways in which you can acquire or get people to be interested in your service, and that's how you can get recognized. Now the last thing that I want to get across is, what are your services going to be? Well, that's the question that you want to ask yourself. Are you strong in website design? For me, I had done website development and design prior to selling SEO. That was one of my big services that I was offering, and that's the thing that kind of separated me from a lot of SEOs, was I know a fair amount about website development and design. Maybe not as much as a web developer or designer, but I started out as that. So when it comes to handling some of the back ends of WordPress, when things go wrong on people's sites, I can diagnose things a lot faster than just a typical SEO, agent or consultant, which is what made me kind of stand out. The next thing that also made me stand out was I like to explain things in layman's terms. I don't like to make things complicated. So I've worked a lot on my video audits to be very simple. They're 5 to 6 minutes, maybe sometimes 8 minutes. And they're all in layman's terms. I don't like to get too fancy or technical. When I do get too technical, it's for a reason. So I know I'm pretty strong in education or in training people and coaching people, as well as, just overall website development and management. So that helps me with my SEO agency. You might be really good with graphics. So you might focus more on the advertising side of things, maybe pay-per-click and designing landing pages. So you want to take a look at what you're strong at, and if you don't know what you're strong at, just start experimenting with different things and see which ones you like, and then cultivate that skill. And the last thing that I want to talk about is payment. When you get your first client, you're not going to do it right. And there really is no actual right way to manage clients. That's the beauty of this whole industry and running your own business, is you can do it the way you want. If you feel comfortable charging by the hour, by all means do it. If you say, you know what, I just want 2-3 clients, I want them to pay me $50 to $100 an hour just to supplement my living, that's perfectly fine. For me, I wanted to make thousands of dollars a month and not have to do that much work. Now, right at this moment, I'm having a little bit of difficulty because I have a couple more projects that I need to work on. I've unfortunately lost one of my staff members, so I kind of have to jump back in the hole and do a lot of work. But there was a time when in like May and June where I wasn't really doing much in my business. I was kind of letting things ride on their own, and I wanted to go down the month-to-month retainer route because it's $1,000, let's say, a month, and it doesn't matter if I work on the site one day for 1 hour or 16 hours. The price is still going to be fixed. So I can start hiring people to, help me out and save me some time. So you got to think about what is your time worth, or if you don't want to trade in for time, how can you maximize your time? So that way you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. Now, you'll eventually start to raise your retainer. Now, I don't recommend, unless you are actually in need of money, and if you're in need of money, don't show it to a prospect, but you simply want to say, hey, this is going to cost you $1,000 a month, this is going to cost you $1,500 a month. Say it with confidence. But if you were like me and you were just starting out, $250 a month for a student, $500 a month, you're going to get that work experience. People are going to be lenient to you if you are just starting out and you are a student and you are kind of like a quote-unquote kid. They want to help you. Some of the business owners will. And those are the people you want to work with, because those are the people that are going to mentor you. They're going to give you guidance. That's what happened with me, and I was fortunate enough to stumble across my second client, who I'm so thankful for that I'm able to work with to this day still. He kind of guided me and helped me build my business a bit. So that's my little spiel. If you guys enjoy these videos and you guys want to see more, definitely let me know. Feel free to reach out to me, comment, rate, and subscribe for more. Thank you.